Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore, and I want to welcome you back to my channel and to my series entitled, Has Bishop Squashed the Freak-Off Party Power Bottom Rumors? And I'm coming back to you today with part B in this multi-part episode series to take a closer look at the 5 civil lawsuits filed against Brother Diddy just prior to the execution of simultaneous police raids conducted by federal agents on homes owned by him located in Los Angeles and Miami, so that we can ascertain if these lawsuits precipitated the police raids and if there's anything in these civil lawsuits and the power bottom freak-off party rumors that have had the internet on fire that should make Bishop T.D. Jakes and or Diddy nervous. More specifically, inasmuch as I have already discussed Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, Joy Dickerson-Neal's lawsuit, Liza Gardner's lawsuit, and Rodney Little Rod Jones' lawsuit, today I want to drill down on the lawsuit filed by an individual identified as Jane Doe, who alleges equally interesting allegations of sexual misconduct against Sean Diddy Combs. And so, in light of all of the freak-off party, power bottom rumors swirling all around the internet, if you know what I mean, and if you want to know what I think about all of the strengths and or weaknesses of these cases, and if they present any real civil or criminal exposure for Diddy and or Bishop T.D. Jakes, then you better stick around, because as I see it, Brother Diddy is out and about at Top Golf with his twin daughters and out to eat with Stevie J, and he doesn't seem too worried about any of this at all.
Down here at Pura Vida by my pad, run into the man right here. What's up? Miami's like that. Yeah. It's a movie.
In addition, after all of the Diddy freak-off party power bottom rumors that have had the internet on pure D fire over the past couple of months, I will replay my preview of another one of Bishop's Powder House T. Diddy Productions.
Hold up, wait just 1 minute. I don't know what this is, but God ain't in it.
We cried out, so we sent his prophet, smoke from a burning bush on this mountain.
Well, when you bring him out, bring him back here. I'ma show him who's God, I'ma draw them there.
But instead of afraid to reach your spear, that's why we let it out of his atmosphere.
We brought a knife to a gunfight, a graven image in the gun line.
Tried it all wrong,
Fix it up till it ain't right. Still walking in the dark when the game is his life. We got the law, the commandments. Listen up, understand this. If you obey, you will live, and if not, you will.
Now, as you know, one thing about me is that I will get to all of the parts, honey child, but in this case filed by Sister Doe, I just can't say all of the parts. So if you want to read those parts for yourself, I will put all of those parts on here, but I might not be able to read all of them because the attorney for Sister Jane Doe is not shy. And y'all know you can't say everything on here if you want to stay on here. And so it is worth restating what I stated in part A of this podcast series about the applicable statute of limitations for sexual assault in New York and in the state of New York. And so it is my understanding that for adult survivors of sexual assault, the statute of limitations in New York is 3 years. And this applies to alleged acts of sexual misconduct that occurred before 2019, which is applicable to most of these over 20-year-old cases that have been filed against Brother Diddy, except if the plaintiff alleges that she was under age 18 at the time of the alleged misconduct, and if so, a 7-year statute of limitations may be applicable to any of those such allegations of sexual misconduct. Now, as I also informed you in prior episodes, the New York State Legislature passed the New York Adult Survivors Act also known as the ASA, which stopped or froze the statute of limitations for a year period of time from November the 24th, 2022 to November the 24th, 2023, which allows Sister Cassie to file her civil lawsuit against Diddy on November the 16th, 2023, before the freezing of this temporary statute of limitations ended. In addition, the New York State Legislature also passed the Child Victims Act, also known as the CVA, which stopped or froze the statute of limitations for a 2-year period of time from August the 14th, 2019 until August the 14th, 2021 for child victims of alleged sexual misconduct. In addition, the New York City Council passed a law called the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law, also known as the VGM, which sought to extend the statute of limitations until March the 1st, 2025 for crimes related to gender that occur in the 5 boroughs in New York City. And so, with this in mind, the first thing that you should know about Sister Jane Doe's lawsuit against Brother Diddy is that she is represented by the very same attorneys that represented Sister Cassie. And although these attorneys, who also represented Sister Cassie, seem to get the better end of the stick, the question is, will Brother Diddy's attorneys be able to discover a whole new world of how to deal with these attorneys?
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him, all things were made.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Without him, nothing was made that has been made.
Then God said,
"Let there be light."
And so, Brother Diddy and his attorneys settled Sister Cassie's lawsuit with these same attorneys in a settlement agreement that would have included a confidentiality clause. Then, these very same attorneys come back 2 weeks later after the temporary statute of limitations under the Adult Survivors Act expires and clearly, in my opinion, allegedly, using information they have gained from Sister Cassie in violation of the confidentiality agreement that she entered into with Brother Diddy, allegedly, and they filed another lawsuit for Sister Jane Doe under the act passed by the New York City Council, the VGA, presumably with the understanding that the statute of limitations had been extended by that local city legislation to March 1st, 2025. So, Sister Doe makes note of the non-dispositive fact that, quote, in 2003, she was a 17-year-old 11th grader, end quote. And I say that this is a non-dispositive fact because instead of stating the exact date when she claims the alleged sexual misconduct took place, she merely states, quote, on one evening between the spring and fall of 2003, Sister Doe was out with friends. And on that evening in question, she was approached by who she later learned was Mr. Pierre, who was with his own friends, including the third assailant, end quote. Now, we have an individual who says she was 17 years old when these acts of sexual misconduct took place, but we don't know exactly when these activities occurred in the year 2003, so we can't ascertain if she maybe had actually turned 18 years of age, and even if we wanted to. We don't know her name, and so there's no way to find out. And so while it may grab news headlines to read that in 2003 Sister Doe was a 17-year-old 11th grader, it will be a non-dispositive fact if it is possible that at the time of the alleged acts, she was actually 18 years of age, because as bad as these alleged acts are, it will be earth-shattering for Brother Diddy if it is determined that he was and or still is carrying on such horrific acts with children. In addition, it should also be noted at this point that Sister Doe does not know the name of this person who she is referring to as the third assailant. Sister Doe states further, quote, Brother Pierre directed Sister Doe to go with him into the bathroom at the lounge. Once inside the bathroom, Brother Pierre began to smoke crack. After he finished smoking crack, Brother Pierre suddenly took out his private parts, demanded that Sister Doe perform certain special activities, and forced Sister Doe's head down to perform said special activities on him. After sexually assaulting Sister Doe, Brother Pierre directed her to accompany him, the third assailant, and another member of their group to an airport in Pontiac, Michigan, where Signature, a fixed-base operator, had prepared a private jet to take the four of them to New York City, end quote. And so, let me get this straight. We have what the attorneys allege to be a 17-year-old girl and 3 grown men traveling on a private jet from Detroit, Michigan to New York City. She was with a friend, but there is no mention of the identity of this friend or what happened to her when it was time to board this private jet. We don't know the exact date when this alleged act took place. We don't know Sister Doe's exact age when the act took place. We don't know Sister Doe's name, and we don't know the names of these other 2 men who were on the private jet. But one thing we do know is that just like Pharaoh, this just might be Sister Doe's first taste of true bondage, because this is not going to be the Diddy production that she thought it was going to be.
Down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go down. Moses way down in the Egyptians' land. But this is what God ain't in it.
We cried out, so we sent his prophet. Smoke from a burning bush on his mountain.
Well, when you bring him out, bring him back here. I'ma show him who's God. I'ma draw them near.
But instead of prayer, we chose fear. That's why we made it out of this atmosphere.
We brought a knife to a gunfight. I gave an image in the gun night.
Tried it all wrong.
Fix it up, still it ain't right. Still walking in the dark when they gave us his life. We got the law, the commandments. Listen up, understand this. If you obey, you will live, and if not, you will.
Please let us live. Oh, don't let us God, have mercy. God, forgive. God, we're sorry. Please let us live. Please let us live. Please let us live. Please let us live. Please let us live.
Now, based on the factual allegations in Sister Doe's complaint, notwithstanding all of the madness that has happened to her up until now, I guess nothing at all happened on this private jet ride to New York City. But I guess that ain't none of my business. And so, Sister Doe states further that, quote, the private jet landed at Teterboro Airport, where 2 black SUVs were awaiting the group. The SUVs brought the group to Daddy's House recording studio, a recording studio and hangout owned and operated by Brother Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment. When Sister Doe arrived, she was escorted into the building, where she distinctly remembers seeing a sign for the company Technicolor. Upon entering the studio, Sister Doe first encountered Brother Diddy. At the time she arrived, a female recording artist was using the studio as Brother Diddy and her parents watched on. The female recording artist finished up shortly after Sister Doe arrived and left, I'm assuming, with her parents, end quote. Now, while we don't know the age of this young female recording artist, I'm left wondering what parents will let their daughter record at a studio called Daddy's House, owned and operated by a company named Bad Boy Entertainment. But I guess that ain't none of my business either. But what I do know is if any of this really happened, these parents would have remembered seeing this young girl at the studio by herself with all of these grown men, since they had the sense enough to make sure they didn't leave their daughter and didn't let their daughter go over there by herself. Nevertheless, Sister Doe states further, quote, while still in the studio section of Daddy's House, Brother Diddy asked Sister Doe to sit on his lap to take a picture. I guess so he could document his activities with this alleged 17-year-old child. Oh, but anyway, y'all, let me stay focused. Brother Diddy, Brother Pierre, and Brother Third Assailant began to ply Sister Doe, a 17-year-old child at the time, with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Sister Doe became more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having any sex with anyone, much less someone twice her age. Nevertheless, that evening, Brother Combs directed Sister Doe to accompany him to the bathroom at the studio. Once there, Brother Diddy removed Sister Doe's skirt and underwear and conducted certain activities from behind with his private parts while Sister Doe hung over the sink. Sister Doe did not consent to these activities with Brother Diddy, but he continued. At some point, Brother Diddy turned Sister Doe around to face him. He told her that he could not achieve his objectives and asked her to squeeze his nipples as hard as she could to assist him. He then turned her back around and continued to ravish her. By this point, Sister Doe was coming in and out of consciousness because of the alcohol and drugs she had been given by the defendants. Her next memory was looking up into the mirror above the sink to find that Brother Third Assailant had replaced Brother Diddy and was ravishing her from the hind parts of her body positioning. Brother Diddy was watching Brother Third Assailant's sexual activities with Sister Doe from a chair outside of the bathroom. Sister Doe mustered the energy to tell Brother Third Assailant to stop, but after he was finished, he was replaced by Brother Pierre, end quote. Now, suffice it to say, Sister Doe is suing Brother Diddy, Brother Pierre, and Brother Third Assailant under the law passed by the New York City Council, the VGA, that extends the statute of limitations until March the 1st, 2025. Now, you will remember that in another episode in this podcast series regarding the raids of Brother Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes, we were informed of what facts are needed to substantiate a sex trafficking criminal case in a court of law.
And explain that to us if you would, Chris, because I know we have talked about, Jonathan just talked about the fact that there have been a number of lawsuits brought against Sean Combs, women alleging that he drugged them and et cetera and so on. My questioning, where does the trafficking come in there? What is it that we need to constitute human trafficking, sex trafficking, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it looks like some of these lawsuits are sort of personal lawsuits, sexual assaults, sort of one-off. So to make human trafficking or make a human trafficking violation under federal law, you have to be taking women against their will and forcing them to commit sexual acts. Query whether there are underage women involved in this investigation. That would make it even more serious if underage women or men are being forced to commit sexual acts, crossing state lines, crossing international boundaries. And also question mark is, what does this tie into an organized crime group, a human trafficking organization? And I can tell you the federal agencies don't like to get involved in one-off type cases. Neither the FBI or HSI will engage in small one-off, one or two, prostitution rings and that sort of thing. If they're working this case, there are every indications that this is a serious, significant human trafficking ring here.
So, in order to substantiate a sex trafficking criminal case in a court of law, you need facts that prove that a person is being taken against their will, taken across state lines against their will, underage individuals being taken across state lines, and/or facts to substantiate that individuals being forced to engage in certain sexual activities against their will. And as you can see, the allegations in Sister Doe's lawsuit are very consistent with these types of allegations. And with all of this being said, it should be noted that Brother Diddy's attorneys seem to have accepted service of the lawsuit on behalf of Brother Third Assailant, which did raise my eyebrow. And they did so even though we don't even know who this person is, because it seems that the attorney to be noticed on all matters in this case as they relate to Brother Third Assailant is Brother Diddy's lead attorney in Los Angeles. And I don't know if this was done to gain control over that particular party in the case in the meantime, so that while everything is pending, all notices regarding that party will go to Brother Diddy's attorneys, or if it is because they think the strength of the motions they have filed in this case at this point are very high. But once the case was docketed, the court set the case for a pretrial scheduling conference set to take place on March the 19th, 2024. But in the meantime, Brother Diddy's attorneys came in hot like pea on a piss test. And on February the 20th, 2024, they filed a motion to dismiss Sister Doe's complaint in its entirety, and they filed a reply to Sister Doe's motion to proceed throughout the case anonymously, and to Sister Doe's request to proceed throughout the entirety of the case anonymously as Sister Doe, on February the 29th, 2024, the Honorable Judge of the 6th Court said absolutely not to that request. But because Brother Diddy's attorneys had also filed the motion to dismiss the case in its entirety, the court stated that it would stay execution of the order ordering Sister Doe to reveal her identity until after the court renders a decision on Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss the case. And so, I go back to my earlier point about Sister Doe's age at the time that the alleged acts took place over 20 years ago. How would Brother Diddy be able to ascertain if Sister Doe was 17 or 18 years of age at the time of the alleged acts if she is not compelled to disclose her true identity? Well, notwithstanding, it seems that Brother Diddy and his attorneys already know her identity because they needed to file this letter request with the court requesting that their response to Sister Doe's motion to proceed anonymously be filed under seal because statements they intended to make in Brother Diddy's response would reveal her true identity. In addition, as you will see a bit later, it seems that Sister Doe's allegation that she was under age 18 at the time that the alleged acts took place might work in Brother Diddy's favor regarding the statute of limitations arguments he made in his motion to dismiss the case. So, it does not seem that Brother Diddy is really fighting Sister Doe on the issue of her age at the time of the alleged acts of misconduct. Now, if this case proceeds, we will soon find out the identity of Sister Doe because she has been ordered by the court to reveal her identity if the case moves forward beyond Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss, if it is denied, because if it is granted, the case will be closed altogether. And so, the question at this point is, will Sister Doe's case start to crumble brick by brick?
Brick by brick by brick by brick, brick by brick by brick by brick, brick by brick by brick by brick, brick by brick by brick by brick.
We got these bricks in our hands and these stones at our feet. We got to stick to our plan, even though God disagrees. Every man from our nation on a page to agree. We built for protection from the flood of the sea. Building a structure to the great unknown to make a name for ourselves. Do it on our own. We built a tower
And so, after denying Sister Doe's motion to proceed anonymously as Jane Doe, the judge also adjourned the March 19, 2024 pretrial scheduling conference and removed it completely from the court's docket. And as of this moment in time, the judge has not rescheduled it, which kind of makes me think that she might grant Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss the case. But in the meantime of Brother Diddy filing his motion to dismiss on February the 20th, 2024, another judge within the jurisdiction of this same federal district court made a ruling in another unrelated case, creating case law precedent that stands for the proposition that the law passed by the New York City Council is preempted by the passage of the Adult Survivors Act, which is the law that froze the statute of limitations to allow Sister Cassie to file her November the 16th, 2023 lawsuit before November the 24th, 2023, which is when the particular law expired. And so, I'm going to call this New York state law the Sister Cassie law. So, if you remember the Adult Survivors Act, which I am calling the Sister Cassie law, stopped or froze the statute of limitations for a year period of time from November the 24th, 2022 to November the 24th, 2023. But then we also have the Child Victims Act, which I will call the Sister Doe Act, which stopped or froze the statute of limitations for acts of misconduct committed against children under the age of 18 for a 2-year period of time from August the 19th, 2019 to August the 14th, 2021. So, the Sister Cassie law and the Sister Doe law were both passed by the New York State Legislature. In addition, the New York City Council passed the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law, the VGM, which purports to extend the statute of limitations again until March the 1st, 2025. And this is the law that Sister Doe's attorneys are relying on to bring this suit because her original 7-year statute of limitations as an alleged child victim of sexual abuse expired in 2010 because she alleges that these acts took place in 2003. Now, she has already missed the 1-year extended statute of limitations under Sister Cassie's law that expired on November the 24th, 2023. But remember, again, that law applies to adults, and she alleges that she was a child. And so she has already missed the 2-year extended statute of limitations under the Child Victims Act, which statute of limitations under that particular law has long expired before then on August the 14th, 2021. But now, Brother Diddy's attorneys argue that a judge in this same jurisdiction just handed down New York precedent that states that both Sister Cassie's law and Sister Doe's law, which are laws passed by the New York State Legislature, preempt the VGA law because it was passed by a New York City Council, which purports to extend the statute of limitations until March the 1st, 2025. And so, based on Brother Diddy's argument, that statute of limitations is not applicable. And so, this completely blows my mind. And I honestly don't know what the judge will do with this information. But I do feel that the U.S. Attorney General possibly feels that the judge could very likely grant Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss the case, which is why I believe the U.S. Attorney General requested issuance of those search warrants that were recently executed by the Department of Homeland Security through their simultaneous raids of Brother Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. But I kind of think there have got to be some hot and heavy settlement negotiations going on behind the scenes, because I can't think that Sister Doe's attorneys want to take a chance on letting the judge grant Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss, because she will lose some leverage. It will create more bad law in the jurisdiction for victims, and I just don't think Sister Doe wants to reveal her identity, which she will have to do if the judge denies Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss. So, either way, it is bad news for Sister Doe if the judge grants or denies Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss. But if I'm Brother Diddy's attorneys, there will have to be some very strong language and understandings among the parties regarding the criminal side of this case as well, so he does not end up like Bill Cosby, giving money to a person who ends up cooperating with the prosecutor in a criminal case against him. But if the precedent holds from the judge that states that Sister Cassie's law and Sister Doe's law preempts the VGA, then my mind is completely blown by all of this. I mean, all of these allegations are over 20 years old, and while the victims may have the strength to come forward after all of these years, many of the witnesses, if any, most probably will not be willing to come forward. And at this point, we have Sister Cassie's lawsuit filed on November the 16th, 2023, albeit filed correctly, in my opinion, in federal court against Brother Diddy as an out-of-state defendant, but it has since been settled with a confidentiality agreement that will put her civil settlement in jeopardy if she breaches that agreement, even though it would be in conjunction with the criminal investigation. Then we have a lawsuit with what I believe to be actually credible allegations filed by Sister Joy. Although she managed to file the lawsuit just hours before the temporary statute of limitations expired, but unlike Sister Cassie, Sister Joy files her lawsuit in New York State Court. And I just don't see how the venue of the court can be proper in a New York State Court when Brother Diddy is no longer a resident of New York. And while I believe all of these 20-year-old sexual allegations will be hard to prove anyway, at least Sister Joy could state with particularity the exact date that the alleged sexual misconduct took place. But procedurally, it will be very interesting to see what happens with Sister Joy's lawsuit, because I just don't think a New York State Court is the proper venue, inasmuch as if you're going to file a lawsuit in a state court, it should be filed in a venue within the purview of the jurisdiction where the defendant resides if you're suing that person in their personal capacity. Otherwise, it should be filed in federal court pursuant to diversity jurisdiction. Then we have a lawsuit filed by Sister Gardner by the same attorney that represents Brother Little Rod. Her lawsuit is also filed in an improper venue, in my opinion, because the attorney also filed her lawsuit in New York State Court when Brother Diddy, in his personal capacity, is just not a resident of the state of New York. In addition, she does not state with any particularity the actual date that the alleged sexual misconduct took place, except to say that it took place sometime in the entire year of 1990 without any reference whatsoever to any point in time in the entire year when this alleged act took place. She states that her friend was also sexually assaulted, but this friend has not filed suit against Brother Diddy. She does not state the identity of this friend, and it seems clear to me that this alleged friend may not be an available witness. In addition, while Sister Gardner clearly states that Brother Aaron Hall raped her, she kind of states that she and her friend were coerced into taking part in sexual activities with Brother Diddy. That word choice is going to be difficult to explain when the time comes to prove that she did not consent to the alleged sexual activities. Then we have the suit filed by Sister Doe, who states that the alleged acts of sexual misconduct took place sometime between the spring and fall of 2003. I mean, that is an awfully long period of time. Summer comes after spring, then fall. And I think it's unimaginable that you can have a child in a lounge performing certain acts in a bathroom and then being able to travel to another state on a private jet and nobody has a flight manifest or any record of this child traveling to and from New York City from Detroit, and her parents are now wondering where she is. And then I think this case has serious procedural legal issues that could cause the entire case to be dismissed. And so I think there are serious issues with all of these cases. But what do you think? Do you believe any of the allegations made in these remaining lawsuits filed by Sister Joy, Sister Gardner, and Sister Doe? And do you think the judge will grant Brother Diddy's motion to dismiss Sister Doe's lawsuit? And do you think the U.S. Attorney General will uncover any real evidence to substantiate these 20-year-old allegations? And do you think at this point that Brother Diddy would have been stupid enough to continue these ratchet activities in light of the fact that he is the father of young daughters who are depending on him? And do you agree that Bishop T.D. Jakes has nothing to do with any of this mess? Please let me know what you think by leaving your comments in the comments section below. And I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video and my entire channel ministry by donating to the ProfessorBlackmore.com Cash App. And I hope you'll also subscribe to my YouTube channel and set your notifications so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more hot tea from the church house, the courthouse, and everywhere else, honey child. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.